In this particular video, I will solve this question with a focus on the CAS calculator. I've demonstrated a solution for this problem here using the manual method by pen and paper in a previous video. So if you would like to see that, hop onto the channel and watch that video first in the series. In this particular question here, I've left the annotations up. We still need to find the values of a and b, and we need to factorize a polynomial here that's been given, along with the conditions here where the remainder is equal to 0. So we've used the remainder factor theorem in order to show or infer that we have these two pieces of information. The first step that we're going to take on the CAS calculator whenever we see an equation is to define it on the CAS. So let's hop over to the CAS here. Don't use the scratch pad unless if you are in a particular situation, but what we want to focus on is using the calculator here. So if we open up a page, our first step is to define the function. So we go to menu 1 actions and 1 define. There are other ways to define a function, however, this is the way that I prefer. Between the a and the x, make sure that you put the times symbol in, because the CAS calculator will discern this as 1. If you do not put this multiplication symbol in between, it will mesh it together as one object or one variable. So by putting the multiplication symbol in between, we're separating the a and the x squared as two separate terms or two separate variables. So once you're done, press enter. Now going back to this, we have two pieces of information here that we want to solve simultaneously in order to find a and b. So in order to do that, we are going to go to solve simultaneous equations by going to menu, 3 algebra, 7 for solve system of equations, and 1 for solving the system of equations. We do have two equations here, or two pieces of information, and we are solving for a and b. Once you're done, press tab to get to the next box and press enter. We want to type in our conditions here, which is p of 1, and that equals to 0. To get to the next box, instead of pressing the down button, press the tab button, and you can go to the next box directly. Once your conditions have been entered, press enter, and this will provide you with your solutions. So you have an input and an output on the CAS calculator. So jumping back over here, let's summarize so far what we've got by pen and paper, because you do need to write this down on paper. So the first step here is to solve for, or solve, we're not going to solve yet, but we're going to solve these two pieces of information or equations for the variables of a and b. So this is a statement that you do want to write down. Therefore, and this is where we write our output of a equals 3 and b equals, a is equal to 3 and b is equal to -3. Okay, that answers the first part of the question. Now we need to update the equation of p of x. So in a manual process, we would substitute by hand and write everything out like so. But on the CAS calculator, since we already have the conditions of a and b here, it's easier for us to just type in p of x, to put the pipe symbol. So the pipe symbol is generated by pressing Control equals, and if you press 1 to the left, it will bring you directly to the pipe. You can press enter there. Once you've got p of x, now see p of x here still has a and b as your variables, but we do have the condition of a equals 3 and b equals -3. So I press up there and press enter to basically copy and paste that down directly. And then we check, we've got p of x, given that a is equal to 3 and b is equal to -3. We can press enter, and there it is. It's updated to our equation here, our updated equation. Now what I'm going to do here is I don't want to interfere with the original definition of p of x. We can update it, but then that will disappear. What I'm going to do is I'm going to define this updated version of the equation as P1 of X. So I'm going to go menu, actions, and define. And I'm going to type in P1 of X. So this is a new defined function, and define it as this section here. Once that's done, so I'm just going to pop myself over here. Once that's done, we can go back over here, and we want to factorize it. Okay, so we want to factorize the polynomial. Going back over here, we want to factorize P1 of X in order to obtain our 3 linear factors. So to do this, we go to menu, 3, algebra, 2, factor, and we're going to, instead of typing the entire thing out, we're going to type in P1 of X, comma, X, and we can just press enter. What this means is that it's factorized now. So all we need to do is write down those 3 factors there. We've got X minus 1, we've got X plus 1, and going back over here, we've got X plus 3 as our factors. Again, checking the statement above in the question, we've factorized the question. And here's our answer for our first part. Here's our answer for the second part here. So on a CAS calculator enabled assessment, this here will only be worth 2 marks. Going back over here, there is all the sections that are required to answer both parts of the question. It is a lot more concise, but the skills in the CAS there are much so required.